welcome to the call. We're still waiting for Aaron to jump on, and as soon as I see him, I will bring him onto the call. You know, I always like hearing Aaron speak. Aaron has he's just a great orator, and he knows his stuff. And he put together a talk that he calls the 5 steps to success, and I know he's been working on it and improving on it. And so that's what he wants to bring to us tonight. And you know, while I'm waiting for Aaron to jump on, I just want to share a couple things. We all want to be successful. We all want to be successful. Anybody that you talk to, I mean, I'll bet that if you talk to everybody that you ran into this weekend, you're not going to find a single person that would tell you that they don't want to be successful at whatever they do. And the difference between those who are successful and those that aren't successful, it's not usually a physical thing. It's not usually something like that. It's usually something in their head. It's usually something in their head that's holding them back, and so calls like this with the information that Aaron's going to talk about, these are really really important to building your business. So I see that Aaron's with us now. I'm going to be bringing him on as a panelist, as a co-host onto the call. There he is now. So hang on one second. There he is. Aaron, if you want to unmute yourself, and you can start your video if you want. There you go.
How's that, Kurt?
You're perfect. Hey, how are things out in Utah? Can you hear me all right? Can you hear me?
Boy, they're good. They're very good. How about I can hear you perfect?
Okay, great.
I
Yeah,
can
things
hear
are
you.
good.
Can you not hear
Things
me?
Yep, I can hear you now. So, are you? Yeah, I think you're on a little bit of a delay. Maybe your uh, uh, bandwidth isn't good.
I just switched over to a different network here, so I think our Wi-Fi will be better.
That's better. I can tell already. You were getting a kind of that fuzzy tunnel-like sound, like a tin
Oh,
can.
good.
I didn't know if maybe you switched to a new tin can microphone or something like that.
Well, I've got a tin can and a string all the way out to your place, Kurt. I think we're good.
That'll work. That'll work. Well,
Good.
it's always nice to have you on the call and share your information. Like I was telling people before you jumped on, it's amazing. You talk to everybody, and everybody wants to be successful, and they've always got an excuse why they're not. But
Good
usually,
point.
if you dug around, you'd find out that the real reason they're not successful is up here in their head.
Well, I completely agree, and I think that's if I were to look at all of the people that I know that are successful, I think about those people that are willing to do the things that others aren't. That's an easy one. And those people that are willing to put the time and the effort and the energy into their business that a lot of people wouldn't do and won't do. And I am going to talk a little bit about that today, which is kind of the cool thing, is that it's a great segue without you even knowing what I was going to talk about, because the bottom line is that you remember back about a year ago, a little over a year ago, when we had our Mauer Mountain event here, and
Yep.
I stood up on stage that last day and I said, listen, are you in business? And it was a big part of what I was trying to somewhat emphasize to those people that are actually out there building the business every day. I wanted to say, admit it. If you're in business, then say you're in business. If you're not, then don't act like you're in the business, because
Right.
either way, you're going to make decisions daily that are going to drive you in behavior wise, that are going to drive you to do certain things. And if the things that you do every day are related to the business that you're trying to build, and I don't care, hey, if you're full time, if you're part time, if you are here and there time, that's okay. But just recognize that usually your commissions or your business revenue is going to have a direct impact or result on how much time and effort and energy you're willing to put into it. And if it's part time, I mean, there are 119.9 million people as of last year that were involved in network marketing. So 119.9 million people are involved in network marketing. And so if you think about it from that perspective, how many of you are full-time? Well, they say about the number is about 15.2 million people that are part-time, full-time, that are putting in at least 30 plus hours into their business per week. Okay, so just again, you can isolate and identify your time, the time that you put into this. And then if you think about the people that are part-time working up to those 30 hours a week, it's about 44.2 million people. So if you think about it from that perspective, you've got about, and again, just roughly, about 60 million people that are out there every day, either part-time or full-time, loving what they do, building a business, doing the things that are necessary for them to have success. But they're either putting in a full-time effort or a part-time effort. And again, it's commensurate with your income. You're going to see a direct result or direct impact on the amount of income that you're making based on the time you put into it. Because about 60.5 million people, Kurt, 60.5 million people are actually in a role where they either love the products, they maybe love the discount that they get by being a part of this business, and in terms of the business side, distributor, not customer. And then on the flip side of that, many of those people just love the fact that they work with like-minded people like yourself that are interested in the same things that they're interested in, that are going the same direction. And again, that's why you see different people gravitate towards different companies, because depending on the company and the type of products and the type of people that are involved, those are the ones that drive the day-to-day activities and really the experiences that are going to help people build a business. And I think that's kind of, again, an easy thing for us to say, but a tougher thing for us to do. How do we incorporate and bring into our fold all the people that we want to embrace them and give them a track to run on, as Tom Sr. used to say. And it was really that relationship. How do we give them a place to go and really an ease of entry, no barriers, and just give them an opportunity to go out and succeed. And I think that's the biggest part that a lot of people have a difficult time with. They think they're alone. They think they're the only ones doing it. They think they're the only ones struggling with the business. And so I think that's, again, part and parcel to how people can see either their income or the relationship to income, how much money they can make in the business.
When I first got started with Sizzle, actually, when I first got started with network marketing, which is about 16 years ago, the guy that introduced me to network marketing, he didn't graduate from high school. He had an 8th grade education. And I thought, well, holy cow, I'm a doctor. I almost have an engineering degree. I can certainly do better than you. And he was a millionaire from it, right? And I thought, I can certainly do better. I'm just going to do it my way. I'm not going to listen to you because, after all, you didn't even graduate from high school is basically what was in my head. And boy, I tell you what, I fell down a lot. And I learned that the things that our forefathers have set up for us, the people that were in the Amway companies and that, they went through, they're the ones that got the arrows shot in their butt a lot to set this all up. And it's a person-to-person business. It's finding people. It's looking at the problems that might show up. Like right now, we have the new computer system, and little things are popping up where there might be a little problem here and there, a little glitch in the system. And I hear people calling me up, and they're like, you'd swear that their world caved in on them. And I'm like,
right.
It's going to be okay. They're going to get it fixed. Just keep working.
Yeah.
They'll get it fixed. If there's a problem that you notice that they haven't found yet, bring it up to me or bring it up to one of them, to Milo or Liesl or Aaron, and they'll get the problems fixed. And that's the whole thing. That's the attitude you have to have, correct?
Well, it is, because I think for a lot of people, they're passionate about what they do, which is what really drives the behavior in the industry. People that are so passionate and so focused on really delivering results. And again, I don't care what your background is. As you just said, Kurt, some of the greatest people in network marketing really don't have an education, or maybe haven't found their lot in life, if you will. Where are they going and how are they going to get there, and what's their career path? and they kind of stumble into this and they find out that they're really good at what they do, and that's in the people business. They really find out that being able to work with people and mentor and coach and nurture and support them, giving them the opportunity, it's just a super cool way for us to identify, how do we help people grow, how do we help people achieve their goals, and ultimately how do we give them a track to run on. And I think that's the biggest key, because if the industry right now, I think we closed out 2019 as an industry as a whole at about $180.5 billion. Okay. So about $180.5 billion. And you think about where, or maybe a better way to say it is, what piece of that pie do I want? Right? Do I want a little teeny sliver of it? Well, at $180.5 billion, I take a little sliver of that, right? I mean, that could be millions of dollars in a sliver. But when you think about it, there are obviously different channels, different types of companies. Companies pop up every year. I think we have 1,000 to 1,200 companies, new companies every year that are organized and set up around the world. And guess what? Out of that, about 1,000 go literally bust within the first year, and within 3 years, most all of the rest of the companies, except for maybe 5 to 10, stay in business. And so when you think about that, we've been around for a while now and continue to just have great success in certain parts of the world. In other areas, we want to grow and grow and grow. And other areas we want to support. So, I mean, there are certain areas that we recognize. But again, like I said earlier, what type of products do we see in this industry, and what makes up those product sets? I mean, if you look at clothing and accessories right now, it's about 6.1% of the revenues that are generated as a result of the entire pie, right? And so clothing and accessories, everybody says, well, how do you make that a consumable? Well, I guess we've got leggings and yoga pants and all these other things that a lot of people are buying, and so that might be and kids clothing and adult clothing and other things. I went to a place one time. I was in the Black Forest down in Germany. Drove in the middle of nowhere. I tell you, I mean, I really felt like it was, if the guy that I was with, thank goodness he knew where he was going, because I had no idea where I was on the planet. But this guy, literally, as we pulled in, he said, these guys are really big in this jean company. And they had an entire wall of shelves of jeans with sizes and different looks and colors and all kinds of different stuff. And I really thought to myself, jeans, is that a real business? But that side, or that segment of the industry, makes up about $11 billion. And so, wow. Again, we think, sometimes that it's specific. Like if you look at cosmetics and personal care, that's about 28.6% of the market. And so if you think about it from that perspective, that's $51.6 billion that people are generating in that segment alone. So cosmetics and personal care, I mean, who has better skincare than we do? I mean, Kurt, I've seen your before and afters, and literally, yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but we want to show it off. I had somebody say to me the other day, boy, how old are you? And I had my 2 grandboys with me. And they said, how old are you? You don't look like you're old enough to have grandkids. And I said, well, I'm definitely old enough to have grandkids. I'm 53. And they said, no way. We would have thought maybe you were around 40. Well, I don't say that boastfully by any means, because I've lived a good life and I deserve to be 53. But the bottom line is, I also hope that I don't deserve all the wrinkles that go along with age. I hope that my skin looks good and young and youthful for a long time. But the Mowers have done a phenomenal job at identifying the ingredients that can really help us with the skincare. Because if I'm not overly excited about clothing and accessories, that's not necessarily going to get me excited or out of bed in the morning. Home care, household, home improvement, durables, that kind of stuff, that makes up about 14.3% of the overall number, or about 25.9 billion. So when you think about that, again, I'm not sure what that means exactly. I'm not sure what that segment or category is, but I guess it for a lot of people means that there's an area that they can go in and depend on the fact that people need things for their home, durables, other things. But wellness, in my opinion, and Doc Fizz, this is where you get excited, but the wellness side is about 35.6% of the overall number. And so when we think about it from that perspective, $64.3 billion is coming in through that segment. And there's all kinds of other stuff that make up the other things that are part of that segment. But again, the two areas that I'm most intrigued by are the two areas that I'm most definitely trying to do everything I can to keep in front of the things that we're doing right now. And I think about, from, again, cosmetics and personal care and wellness, those are the three segments that I want to be a part of, that I'm excited about. And I know that
Mm-hmm.
those of you on the call today, you're excited about that. Those are the areas that make you excited, that give you a reason to kind of jump out of bed in the morning and go out and teach people about what it is that we do on a daily basis, and help them with a little bit better understanding of why these products are absolutely unlike any that they've ever had an opportunity to be in front of in the past. And so we really have to look at it from that perspective. But I do think, it's interesting because, like you said, so many people think, the sky is falling. But again, it's that passion that drives the people, that gives them the ability to go out and do what they do every day, to share the message, and to not be afraid to be in front of somebody and have that conversation. But really, the litmus test to me right now, and the desire that I have, even with this call today, is to give people an opportunity to truly understand you're not alone in this industry. You are absolutely 100% with a lot of really, really great people, 119, call it 120 million people that are out there doing the same thing that you are. So that means a little bit of competition, but without competition, we wouldn't have anything in this world.
Right.
Competition breeds some phenomenal advances in technology, advances in the way that we do things on a daily basis, the technology behind automobiles, and the way they build a house, or the way they build a building, or whatever it may be. We see efficiencies all over the place because somebody said, I think I can do it better. And that's really what we're talking about today. But I'm super enthused right now. I mean, yeah, this transition to the new software program, if you think you're getting a few calls, I can tell you that I'm getting a lot of calls, and then every single avenue that somebody can come at me, whether it be through private messages on Facebook or Instagram, or WhatsApp or Line or Viber or wherever it is, it hasn't stopped. And that's okay, because what we're learning are all the little things that are going to make us the best. And so I don't mind hearing about those things. I don't mind when somebody comes in and says, hey, did you know that there was a misspelling on a word? Well, there are a lot of words on the website, and so if there's a misspelling, we want to know about it, we want to fix it. But realize we're human just like everybody else, and so human error comes into play. But hopefully the technology is really what drives you to have a better user experience, using the Sizzle office, giving yourself the ability to have all the analytics and the reports and all of the other things that will help you build a business, and also have a better shopping cart experience, giving people the ability to have efficiencies in the technology, to make it easier for people to come into the business and get enrolled and put in their information and then get their money out. And I know that we had some issues. I know we've got a lot of people on from Australia, and we worked diligently for a couple of days, literally day and night, trying to ensure that we could give you guys a path out with your money. I mean, that's a big thing. I made some money, and now I want the money in my bank account. So if it's not coming to me immediately, yeah, I'm angry, and I would be the
Mm-hmm.
same way. So we said, oh boy, we missed something on the way, that you had to put in just a couple of characters in there in order to do it, in terms of a different way that the banking system works down in Australia, New Zealand, versus the way it does in the US. So we fixed it, and we, immediately tried to remedy it. I think all the fixes were done and completed the first part of this week. But again, for you that were patient, thank you. For those of you that were frustrated, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as I'm listening to I think, you know, first thing I'm going to say is that, I mean, there's just so much opportunity. I mean, if you choose not to get involved with Sizzle, if you choose to get involved with a different kind of network marketing company, whether it's phone cards, gas cards, whatever it happens to be, there's all sorts of opportunities. And really, when you go into it and you just tell yourself, I guess Tom used to tell me, failure isn't an option.
Right.
You just decide that I'm not going to fail, and I'm going to make some mistakes along the way, but it's what you do with those mistakes. If you fall down, you get back up, you know, and and that's what you do when you're in this industry, and you just, I mean, and is the corporate going to make some mistakes here and there, like with little things like you bet. And same thing, you guys get back up, you fix it, and then we just keep moving on and make things work. And when you're talking about the different industries, I mean, first of all, I'm sitting there thinking, how can you make blue jeans consumable? Well, I mean, there's only one way: you make them so they melt away. But then, I mean, that brings on another problem. But so the wellness industry or anti-aging is the fastest branch of medicine right now. And I learned a long time ago when I got into my chiropractic office that you want to be on the forefront of it. You don't want to be the guy kind of picking up the caboose and well, hey, I'm doing that too. You want to be the guy up in the front in the engine driving, and that's where we are with Sizzle. When I first joined Sizzle, it was when Tom introduced the TSX product.
Right.
And I had just heard all about the 2009 Nobel Prize. I had read all about astragalus and astragalosides, and I was looking at the other product. I won't mention the name, but the other product. And I mean, I know people who were spending $5,000 a month on the other product. And when Tom and I were talking, he said, Kurt, he said that person that's spending $5,000 a month could literally buy less than $500 a month of our product and get more for his money than what he was getting with the other company based on the formulation. And I just said, holy cow, and so that's what got me over here. And then now with the age pill and I don't know if you've been paying attention to all the news and anti-aging, but the science of senolytics is everywhere. It's everywhere now. I mean, everybody's talking about it now with the COVID infection. They're talking about senescence of the immune cells and all of this. And I'm saying, hey, we're on the cutting edge with our product. I mean, right now you can't get it, but when it comes back, thank God I bought it. I bought a year's supply when it came out, so I'm sitting here good yet. But yeah. That's what a great product. So anyhow, I'll let you get to your talk. I know you got a lot of stuff that you wanted to share, and you probably shared some already. But I'll mute myself out.
No, you know what, Kurt, and by the way, you can mute when you want. I'll just start yapping for you guys. But I think the bottom line is that a lot of us obviously look at the products, and one thing I always know is that we always want what we don't have. And so when we've got some out of stocks, and it's been a tough time. As a matter of fact, Tom Jr. and I were talking on Wednesday. We did a great call with another great leader in the company, Bill Whiteley, and had an opportunity to really put together what I consider to be a real straightforward conversation. Tom Jr. and myself jumped on the call that night. And one of the things that Tom Jr. brought up was this fact that there was a big company, I won't get into names right now, but they do about $2 billion a year. And they had just sent out a huge press release to their distributor base and had said, we're out of stock on all of these products. And you kind of look at it from the standpoint of a company that's doing that much in revenue, that much in volume. Why are they having the issues? And why are they having out of stocks? Well, the same reason we are. Well, I would love to say that our supply chain assurance is there and it's better than ever. But the fact is, when you've got companies going out of business left and right because of this COVID issue, it makes it super difficult to try to find and source new material from new companies that you have to vet in order for you to feel like you've got the best, most efficacious ingredients coming onto your line. And so your products would suffer if we didn't go through the process on our side that we always go through in order to determine what is best and what's doing it the right way. So from a lot of people right now, there are a lot of companies out there that are struggling with the same issues that we are. And I wish that I could say it's easier and better and getting better. One of our bottles that we've used for years and years and years is literally 18 months before we're going to get a shipment of that same bottle. Well, what does that mean? Immediately we pivot and adapt and try to find the right source of bottles that may not look exactly the same as the old one, but that we can get today versus later. And so there are a lot of people that are struggling with that same issue, and we're not alone. But the bottom line is you're not alone either. Realize that we've got great products in catalog. We've got phenomenal products in your inventory in different parts of the world that each one of you are on this call with. And I want you to know that as a result, you'll find the right products. Try something new. Have your people try something new. Read up and do a little bit of research and see if there's something out there that might be better suited for you and what you're trying to accomplish with your health and wellness goals versus what you may have been just literally kind of pigeonholed on. Because there are some phenomenal products, and the Mowers have never scrimped on putting together some of the best. But from my perspective, when we went through the new software and updated the website, updated the shopping cart, updated the Sizzle office, giving you guys a little bit more analytics and hopefully helping you to make or have the technology do what it needs to do. The thing that I thought would be kind of interesting tonight, and I've kind of touched on this in the past, but is really to give you guys a little bit better overview of the type of company that we are, but not so much that, the industry as a whole, and then where are we going as a company, as well as where do we see the industry going in the future, and how can we help you get started in this business. And that is one of the biggest things that we've heard over the years. I've heard it for years, and in talking to Tom Jr. earlier today, which I've got to tell you, you guys are in great hands with Tom Jr. He is an amazing man. He's got incredible intellect. He's got skills above and beyond anything that we would need here. He's just a very, very smart, capable person. But at the same time, for the last couple of years, and really probably for the last year to 2 years, Tom Sr. was really, doing a lot of research and doing a lot of spending a lot of time going over the science and going over product formulations and all that good stuff. But the thing that I would tell you is that Tom Jr., over that same course of time and beyond that, had been doing very, very, very good, deep, dark research and delivering a lot of products that are in our catalog today. So probably about 80% of our products were formulated by Tom Jr. So if you think about that from that perspective, he doesn't come out and he, limelight is not necessarily his love. He loves to do the things behind the scenes. He takes care of our finance, our legal, our operations, and then of course all of the manufacturing rolls up through Tom Jr. And so here's a man who absolutely knows it from 46 years of experience in manufacturing, that there's nobody that I would trust more in terms of giving us a bottle or a product that is formulated to the specifications that Tom Jr. Has his expectations on a product, and then having that come off the line. So I want you to know that I've always been impressed with Tom Jr. from the first day I met him, literally almost 12 years ago, to today. He sat in my office for about an hour today. We chatted about some of the business aspects, and it was just absolutely lovely because he's just that type of person, super genuine. He wants to get back out on the road again. He wants to go visit different people in different parts of the world so that he can spend time and get to know others that maybe he didn't get to know in the past. Again, Tom Sr. loved traveling. Tom Jr. he's fine with traveling, but he kind of allowed his father to spend time out on the road as well as myself. But he's excited to get back out there. And, we've always said, Tom Sr. and I always said, hey, we're going to go out and divide and conquer. And so I would go one direction, he would go another. And we did that literally 6 or 7 months every year overseas, where we were just bouncing around the universe and trying to figure out where we needed to be to help people grow their business, to get people excited, to motivate people and encourage them. But not only that, educate. And as I looked at it from the standpoint of Tom Jr., he actually said the exact same thing a couple of days ago. He said, Aaron, we're going to go out and divide and conquer. When this whole Corona thing lifts, we're going to go out and we're going to start putting our calendar together, and we're going to get people in rooms, and we're going to give them all the energy that they need. And, it's interesting because when we think about the type of sales that this industry has, a couple of things that are interesting to me are numbers. I've always enjoyed the numbers and enjoyed trying to understand a little bit better some of the algorithms in the world and the way things work and why they don't work the way they work. And so when I think about that total number, if we look at the big number, of course, $180 billion in revenues associated with network marketing, the U.S. is number one, but the top 10 countries make up about 78% of that number. And so the U.S. is about $35.2 billion. China is $23.9 billion. Korea, I think, is somewhere around 17 billion. Germany's 17 billion. Japan's 15 billion, et cetera. So you've got these big numbers out there that when you recognize that there are some numbers that are associated with what you're seeing or what you're doing and the area that you're in. And unfortunately for my Australian friends right now. You didn't make the top 10, but I think we can do it this year if you guys work hard. So let's let's put some time and effort into it. But I really think about it from the standpoint of, why did people join the business? Why did people join the industry? Why did somebody join your team? And for whatever reason that is, we need to figure out how to support you in that reason. And for that reason, we need to figure out how to help you understand that when you start a home-based business, maybe it's for additional income. Maybe it's to be your own boss and not have anybody putting pressure on you. Maybe you have a regular full-time job and you want to come home and chase your dreams and have some fun with the people that you work with. Maybe you just want freedom. Maybe there's some tax benefits that you've identified that your country recognizes, and that you can have some different write-offs against your income. There are all kinds of things and reasons why people do certain things. But every year there are just literally probably 40 million businesses that are started a year. And out of those, we see that there are about 50% of all new businesses are being done through referral base. They're being done by about 70% are being done by a sole person. We've got 68% of all small businesses are home based. And so we're seeing things in the industry and in time that we recognize are just part of what we're trying to accomplish in terms of the type of message that we take out to the people, in terms of the marketing, in terms of the way that we create our branding, and in terms of the way that we explain and educate people on our products. So there are all those things that are really the kind of the basis of what we do. But I want you to know that each one of you has an opportunity to think about it from the standpoint of maybe a graph would make more sense. If I could show it to you on the screen, I would, but it's in this little place up top here. But the bottom line is that for people that joined MLM companies, and this goes back a few years, but I've been using this little bit of conversation, but about 51% of the people that join network marketing are looking for supplemental income. And so we know that people are out there. And I used to tell people, if I had a product, if I had my product that I could pull out, and I had my age pill here, and I put the age pill out there, or I put $100 out there, for the most part, people would love the age pill, but I think they choose the $100. And so you recognize that there are people looking for that supplemental income to change their habits at home. We're going to get into that in a minute. Now, the full-time people make up about 34% of that, as we talked about earlier. So if you think about somebody that's looking to replace their current full-time income with network marketing full-time income, there are a lot of people that go that direction, but it's not for everybody. Or maybe it's the risk, or maybe it's the reward that drives people into that side of it. But maybe the risk holds people back from going into that side of it. And then, of course, like I said, you've got a lot of people that love the discounts and that want to meet new people. And so that's really what you have to understand, is that the people that are on your team are looking really for those things that will give them the best payback or the best return on their investment. And so when people are looking for the right type of business, what are they looking for in a home-based business? What are they looking for in the company that they choose to represent? Because nobody wants to represent the type of company. Sorry, I had a call come in, but nobody wants to represent the type of company that's not going to give them the opportunity that they were looking for in terms of, again, like 1,000 companies go out of business every year in network marketing. They get started, they have a great business plan, they have maybe a great story, that maybe they got a great berry that they found at the bottom of a cave somewhere in the Middle East, or wherever it might be. But whatever that story is, they get excited. They put their business model together and they say, we're going to go out and do MLM. We're going to do a network marketing company. We're going to give people that opportunity. But the bottom line is, you've got to look at the type of company that you're associating with. You've got to look at the experience. You've got to look at the type of products that they have. Are they cutting edge? Are they technology based? Are they going to change people's lives? Are they something unique that nobody else has? If that's the case, of course, that's what we're looking for. And then if you think about it from equality and compensation, I mean, really think about that standpoint is, we want obviously to have the opportunity to do everything we can to help people grow and to help people achieve great success. But we don't want people to be left behind. And just because I'm a part-time guy and I'm just, trying to bring a couple of extra bucks, well, I don't want to leave you behind either. But if you're a full-time person, I want to reward you for the behavior and the time and the effort and energy that you put into the business. I want to make sure that you're rewarded for that as well. And then, of course, you've got supply chain assurance and manufacturing, We want to be that type of company that gives you the ability to feel confident you're going to have your products, you're going to get your products. Now, right now, the world is in a crisis. So it's not as easy to say today that we have all of these things in place. But I'll tell you what, in the future, we're getting out of this. We're working diligently to do it. And Tom Jr., one of the things that I absolutely love about the Mowers is they are problem solvers. They do not accept, as Kurt mentioned earlier, they do not accept failure as an option. So when we're sitting in meetings and we're saying, well, we don't have this ingredient, Tom Jr. will say, what about this one or this one or this one? And let's find out. Let's talk to this company, this company, this company, this vendor. Let's identify who has it, who has something that's close to it or resembles it, or has maybe something that's newer, that's better than what we currently have in our products. So those are the things that we have to look at. And then, of course, obviously, at the end of the day, we need to look at um, the company as a whole. Why is it that so many companies go out of business? Why is it that so many companies don't quite make it? Well, they're undercapitalized. Maybe they've got too much debt. Maybe they have a burn rate that's much bigger than their income stream. And as a result, that is going to drive people out. Well, we're still a debt-free company, folks. We're still a company that grows on profits. And so when you see, oh, we're not doing as much, or we don't have as much, or we don't spend as much in certain areas, well, guess what? You're probably right in some ways. And in other ways, you're wrong, because we have this massive manufacturing facility that allows us to keep that supply chain going. And even when we can't get ingredients, even when we can't get bottles, plastics, seals, labels, etc., guess what? We're still identifying ways to source around it. And sometimes it takes us weeks, and sometimes it takes us months, and sometimes it takes us a little bit longer. But we're going to work through and come up with a solution and problem solve this issue. And so I want you to know that there are a lot of things that we're working on right now that really give us the ability to give you the confidence and the strength and the encouragement that you need to continue to build your business. Now, with that being said, one of the things that I wanted to give you guys as just kind of an easy update is that we've talked in the past about how do we get our return on investment? How do we get our product for free? How do we get a lifestyle change? And what does all that mean? Well, I'm going to back it up a little bit to your return on your investment. One of the things that I've identified is that there are two things that are going to make somebody successful in this industry. The first one is I've got to show you that you can have success. A lot of people have tried and failed. A lot of people have been told, some wonderful things and not been supported. A lot of people have been told that, you're going to make millions and they don't make any money. And at the end of the day, they were in the red, not the black. And so we want to figure out how to help people get to that level where they're actually seeing results, and not just on products, but in income. And so when I talk about return on investment with our profit centers, we've got our fast start bonus. And if I bring in 4 people at or above the same amount that I came in at, well, guess what? With 25% fast start bonus and 4 people at or above the same amount I came in at, I can now get my return on my initial investment. So if I spend 100 points on coming in and buying product and getting started with Sizzle, I've just got to find 4 people that have or are going to spend at about or more than what I spent in order to get to that return on investment. And again, it's real simple. With 25%, 4 people will do it. Now, what I've always told people is pay attention to kind of this 3x3 matrix. And I don't mean that in terms of trying to do some type of force matrix or something that would be a little bit larger or bigger than life. What I really mean is that it's real simple to get started. You get paid down 3 levels with a minimum monthly order of 50 points. So if you get paid down 3 levels and you've got 3 people across, and those people start working and finding other people with your help and you're supporting them. And I always tell people it's real simple to think about. If I bring these 3 people in, my goal is to help them find their first 3 people. That would be the simplest way to do it, because in this business, duplication is everything. We all know that. I mean, I'm saying things that are very simple, but the simplistic approach is what we need to take. The simplistic approach is on products. If I get into deep, dark secrets and details like Doc Fizz can, I might wow and dazzle them and get them excited and they want to take the product, but they probably won't remember as much about that product other than the fact that I've got to take it. If it's simplified, and Doc Fizz does it simple, by the way, he's my example, but it's not a good example all the time. but there's a way to simplify it. And then lots of people want a little bit more detail. And all it does is confirm and validate the feelings that they have in terms of the product. I mean, we talk about the H pill. It's a wonderful product. It's a phenomenal product for so many people that have had great success on it. It's been out now for a little over 3 years, and it's still one of our top hottest selling products that we have in the world, because the message is the same. Every single person's answer, if I said, what did you notice with the H pill? Everybody will say, boy, I noticed more energy. I noticed that I was sleeping less, but I had more energy in the morning when I woke up, but I had great sleep. And I noticed my skin starting to clear up and my wrinkles starting to go away, and all of these wonderful attributes of a product that supports so many mechanisms inside the body. But ultimately, I talk about it from a detox perspective. And I talk about it from the sense that when you look at H pill, everybody understands the gut and detoxifying the gut. They understand that detox process, getting rid of the bad bacteria, getting rid of the junk and gunk that's inside the intestines, and really stripping all that junk out and preparing the body for great nutrition. Well, your cellular system is no different. So when you get that glycation, that plaquing of the cells, when you get that lipofusion, or what we call cellular garbage, guess what? You've got to get rid of it. You've got to go in and start cleaning it up. And once you clean off that plaquing, once you get rid of that cellular garbage, and once you start introducing some of the greatest nutrition that you can supplement with, now you start seeing the energy levels go up, because your NAD being produced is literally delivering that energy right through the mitochondria to ATP to biological hydrogen, and right out there to your electrical energy, which is what we all drive and thrive on. And so that's the bottom line, is that we want to do that. Well, that second step is really understanding, how do we get people to kind of focus on the tip of the spear. And so if I think about the H pill, it's a super simple, easy product to start talking about. Now, as we heard from Doc Fizz, Senolytics and our Stemolytic product, when you think about the knowledge and the understanding that Tom Senior has and had, and when he formulated and built these products, one of the things that I love is that he was as passionate about it and believed in it and understood it long before anybody else did. Well, just like we found out. So back in February, when I launched it in Europe, and Tom Senior went out in Pennsylvania here in the US and launched it, we did it exactly at the same time, and it went like wildfire throughout those markets. And then, of course, we started moving it through other parts of the world, and it's just been a phenomenal product line that, or basis that we have absolutely said introduce along with your H pill. You've got Stemolytic, you've got TSX. Start adding in the Triangle of Life. You've got all these phenomenal products that are really super good for the body. Now it makes it easier to start looking at those 3 people that you want to bring in. So again, I've got my first 3 people. They now start bringing in their first 3 people. Now all of a sudden you've got 12 people in your organization. They bring in theirs. Pretty soon you've got 37, 39, 45, 50, 60 people. Well, if you just think about it from your 3 levels down that you're getting paid on, and the volume starting to grow, you literally can be paying for your product every month through your commissions. And I tell people, if I could do that, if I could do that one thing, if I've done my job, I've taught people how to get their products for free every month. If I can teach you how to get your products for free by building a business that you actually have enough commissions that can deliver the cost of your products, I've done my job. And the person that brought you in has done their job when they teach you that same thing. So that's why I want to get back to the simplistic approach, not beyond this, because it's easy. When we start talking about the 5 steps to success, traditionally I have the lifestyle change, I have making an extra $1,000 a month, and then of course your goals. I mean, I would say that if I were to talk about your goals, if I were to think about goals right now, and what do you want to accomplish? What do you see yourself accomplishing in this business in reality? I mean, not some pie in the sky number that you throw out. And then, I've had that in a lot of meetings that I've asked this question, but I'm talking the reality of it. What would it mean to you if you could make X every month? And put that down on a piece of paper. And I would say this to you as well. Put it down on a piece of paper as we're talking right now, or when we're done with this call. Sit down and write down your goals. And then you have to math backwards your basic numbers. So you have to look at the number of people in your current downline. How much are they spending per month? What's your current commission? How can you make more money in terms of the number of volume that's associated or commensurate with the number of people that you're bringing in. And that's how you start working it backwards. So as you look at it from the standpoint of how many people do I have in my organization, and then how do I work that backwards? It's a simple process. It's a divisible number. And so when you start thinking about the people that you're working with and trying to bring into the business, you want to teach them these same exact principles and precepts on how they can build a successful business. But then every single day, it's an encouragement call. It's a meetup call once a week. It's a time to sit down. It's time to go over these things. And everybody knows, look, it's super difficult to manage much more than 10 people at a time. It's a difficult thing. I've been in management for most of my adult career, and management is a tough thing when you've got 5 to 10 people. When you add 20 people, it makes it even more difficult. And when you start to add more and more and more, that's why it's so important that each one of you tries to learn and at least put together some thought process on where you want to be from a leadership perspective as well. There's one thing that I probably should do sometime soon. I've done it when I've been down in Australia, New Zealand, just a little touch of it. But it's the leadership conversation that we talk about, and the traits and characteristics that are inherent in each of us that we actually either are born with or that we learn over time. And maybe for the next call, we can do that. But I'm telling you, folks, we're in the perfect place right now. We're perfectly positioned. There's a great opportunity for us to go out and build an incredible, successful business that helps so many other people. And as I've said for years and years and years, hey, look, my success is not determined by you or by me alone. It's determined by the people that we actually have an impact on and help them achieve the great success as well. Because success is not just individual. Success is teamwork, and it's a group of people. And that's why I say a lot of the people that get involved in this business are looking for an opportunity to meet up with people that are like-minded, socially responsible, that want to help other people and give them that same opportunity. And so for me and my goals are from a corporate perspective. And of course, you guys all know that I love the corporate side. I love helping people in the masses. And so my goal is always to help you understand from a simplistic approach, how do you go out and get started? I mean, let's just start to get started, folks, because there are so many people that do get involved in this industry that literally fell after the first, second, or third month. They're gone. And why are they gone? Because they didn't have success. They didn't have support. They weren't taught the basics on how to get started. We all have to assume that everybody is coming in with a blank slate. They have no idea what they're doing. We have to give them those basics on how they can get started. And I'll tell you, I will do that at some point, maybe in the next couple of weeks. I'll jump back on and we can do the 5 characteristics or traits of successful people, because leadership is defined by those people that really understand how to motivate, how to educate, how to support, how to nurture, how to coach, how to do the basics on giving people the simplistic ideas as well as the technical ideas, the big high-end level pieces that people need in order to be successful once they start getting past, these entry-level basis piece. So super excited. I really appreciate, Kurt, always, I super appreciate you having me on this call, giving me the opportunity to say hello to everybody, because I certainly absolutely love and cherish all of you, and the opportunity to be with you again, hopefully in the near future. I'm really looking forward to that as well. I cannot wait to get out of town and go spend some time and do what I love doing, which is getting to know each of you and giving you the opportunities to learn more about our company and more about the industry and more about yourself. So with that, Kurt, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, Aaron, thanks for being on. And as you were talking, one thought passed through my head. I mean, I don't know the numbers. Maybe you do. When you compare people who have a goal, have written a goal down, compared to the people who are just winging it, what's the number of people in comparison, the percentage of people who are goal oriented versus those who wing it that actually achieve success? Do you know those numbers at all?
I don't know that that is a fantastic question. I don't know that I know the number, the actual numbers on that, but here's what we do know in life. When you have written something down and you have published it for yourself, doesn't have to be published for everybody else, but you've published it for yourself, and you give yourself that idea that you believe that you can do something if you work towards something. If you do these basic steps every single day, that you'll have an opportunity to achieve great success. And you've written it down, and maybe you've created your vision board or your dream board. A lot of people don't, a lot of people haven't, but those people that do, they visualize success. They visualize themselves being separated from the common people, and they see themselves as a higher level person and as a more successful person. And as a result, that's where the results come in, because most people have a hard time. When you wing it, you really don't know if you were successful or not. You hope you were, you think you might be, but as we all know, hope's not a strategy. I'll tell you this right now, I've hoped for a lot of things in life, I've never gotten it. We can all think about it all day long, and wish and dream and be mesmerized by the flashy certain things that we may want in our life. But bottom line is, if you're not putting together your vision or your dream board, your goals, I agree with you, Doc. It's probably a good possibility that you're not going to make it anyway. So everybody sit down, put your goals together, put a vision or dream board together. And when I say that, everybody, I think, knows what that is, but visualize some of the things that you want. If it's a new home, if it's a vacation, if it's for me, a new bicycle, if it's a new car, if it's paying off your debt, even whatever it might be, then put a big picture of a credit card up there and put a big slash through it and put that as part of your vision or your dream board, and then get rid of it and literally work every day towards those goals of achieving something. And that's all we can do. Ultimately, that's all we can do, is we can just sit back and try as hard as we can to tell people and to teach people and to educate people on how to get there. And ultimately, it's up to them to do it. So like you said at the very first of this, it's right here. This is the only thing holding you back from your success right now. So if you open up and start with that blank slate and say, I'm going to go out and do it, let's do it. Let's do it together, though.
There you go. Hey, we'll close the call with this thought. It's no wonder Tom Sr. wanted you on the team.
Well, thank you, Doc. And as always, I just, this is fun for me. I love it. I enjoy it, and I love seeing people have great success. So it's a win-win.
Thank you for being here, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Aaron, have a wonderful weekend with Erica, and have fun.
Thank you. Thank you all. See you
All right.
later.
All right. Bye-bye.